What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I want to tackle two subjects. Get it? Tackle like football. We talk about football. We use football puns. Why not? Anyway, two things I want to get into today. Number one is the New York Jets will be meeting with Jordan Travis, a quarterback prospect. And number two, players that I think the New York Jets should retain. So let's hop into it with Jordan Travis. He is a bit of an older prospect. He will turn 24. He spent his first year at Louisville as a redshirt freshman. Then he transfers to Florida State. And last year, he threw for 2,756 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions before suffering a season-ending injury, tearing his ACL. That is obviously a little bit of a red flag. But as a rusher, he was very productive there, rushing for at least 7 touchdowns in each of the last 4 seasons. He is someone who probably is going to go on day 3. I would imagine the 4th round seems about right for a guy like Jordan Travis. He probably would have went earlier if he didn't get hurt. I think he's someone who could go 2nd or 3rd round if he stayed fully healthy and played the rest of the year. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He got hurt towards the end of the season. But what also makes him interesting, in particular for the New York Jets, is that he is very obviously a project. He is not someone who is going to come in and play right away. And the Jets have the luxury and the ability to take a project quarterback because of who is in front of said project quarterback. The project will be QB3. Unlike last year, the project was Zach Wilson, and he was listed as QB2. Aaron Rodgers immediately gets hurt, and Zach Wilson is forced right back into the starter spot. Jordan Travis, in this instance, would not be put in that same situation. The New York Jets have Aaron Rodgers. They have Tyrod Taylor. I like Tyrod Taylor a bunch, but I'm hoping you don't see him this year unless it's the preseason or unless it's a blowout win for the New York Jets. But for Jordan Travis, he is someone who can just sit, learn. I also like guys like Michael Pratt or Spencer Rattler as mid-round guys, but for Jordan Travis, that's someone that the Jets are in particular meeting with, and is a name to keep an eye on in that 4th round window. And once again, because he's coming off the injury, there's really no pressure on him in year 1 regardless. So you could potentially put him on IR if you really wanted to. He's expected to be ready to go for the start of next season anyway. But worst case scenario, you IR him for a year and you don't have to use the roster spot anyway. But curious about that one. Is he my favorite option of the mid-round quarterbacks? I don't know if I'd go that far. I think I like Michael Pratt and Spencer Rattler better. But is Jordan Travis one of those QBs who fits the bill on a swing that you should be taking in the mid-rounds? Yes, he does. Have you ever Googled yourself and were shocked to see your personal information exposed on one of those public listing sites? Data brokers are making a fortune selling your information to robocalls, spammers, and others who want to learn more about you, like where you live. As a public figure, this type of stuff is an absolute nightmare for me. Private information should remain that, private. This is why I'm pumped to tell you about our new sponsor, Aura. Aura can identify data brokers exposing your information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but they make it super hard to do it. Let Aura handle that for you. You can try Aura for free for 2 weeks using my link, aura.com/Matt O'Leary. Aura also does so much more to protect you and your family from online threats you can't see. It's really easy to set up so you don't have to download several different apps to get things like parental controls, antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. You get everything at one affordable price. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. Once again, start your 2-week free trial by using my link and going to aura.com/Matt O'Leary. The link is also in the description for this video, so make sure to check it out. So something else that I wanted to get into today, as it's been a little bit quiet in free agency after they signed Mike Williams earlier in the week. They have a visit with Jadeveon Clowney and waiting on a decision there. But there are 3 Jets that I think the New York Jets should look to retain that have yet to be retained. And the first one, and probably most important of the bunch, is Justin Hardy. And I know what you're thinking, well, he's just a special teamer. Does he really have that much value? Is it worth it to bring him back and pay him $2-3 million a year? Not really. Like, he's someone who doesn't have a position really. Like, he doesn't play defense. Like, he's technically listed as a corner, but he's a special teamer is what he is. I think there was a very noticeable difference when Justin Hardy was playing and when he wasn't last season. So Justin Hardy missed 6 games this past year, and in 4 of those 6 games, the Jets allowed 40 or more return yards on the game. The worst one was against the Chargers, where they let up over 100, including a punt return for a touchdown. Special teams mistakes, the Jets could not afford those last year because of just how poor the rest of the offense was, or just the offense in general, I guess. But with the special teams unit, 4 of the 6 games they allowed 40 plus return yards against. In the 11 games that Hardy did play, they only were 2 of those games where they allowed 40 plus return yards against. So to me, there is a very clear difference of what the special teams unit performed at with versus without. I do think he is worthwhile to bring back and play that role because of just how good he is and the rest of the special teams unit is. The next guy kind of fits that same bill as well, and that's Ashtyn Davis. Number one, he also plays special teams and has carved out a nice little role on specials, but they also need some more safety depth, and let's be honest, he drastically improved in his 4th season in the NFL. The first 3 were very, very streaky for him. He was always someone who was around the ball and creating turnovers, but kind of got lost in coverage sometimes, kind of would take weird pursuit angles in the run game, but the football IQ improved over the years, and in his 4th season was very productive. He had 3 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries. He was responsible for 6 turnovers last year, if you combine those. So kind of just has a nose for the football, and I wouldn't expect him to be brought back and to start. Chuck Clark, I think, is a better strong safety than Ashtyn Davis, but Ashtyn Davis as the 3rd safety would be really, really nice. And that 3rd safety would play a decent amount. You know, they were able to get Ashtyn Davis on the field a lot last season. And, you know, they already had Tony Adams and Jordan Whitehead in front of him. So I would be all in on bringing Ashtyn Davis back. Supposedly, though, he is looking for an opportunity to start. So there's a chance that he doesn't return. But clearly, as we are in the second week, the closing of the second week of free agency, the market hasn't really cooked up too much for him. And finally, the last guy that I think I would be looking to bring back for the New York Jets, Connor McGovern, not as a starter, but as a backup. I think Connor McGovern could be good depth on the interior of the offensive line. He plays center. He can play guard. Him and Wes Schweitzer as the 2 veteran interior guard options. Not too bad. He started 7 games for the Jets last year before the injury. I was incredibly surprised with his market last year. He was brought back on a 1-year, essentially a veteran minimum deal, and I thought he was someone who was going to get paid relatively big money. I mean, you look at the centers. There's centers now who are cashing in, you know, $12 to $14 million a year. I thought, hey, someone's going to give McGovern, I don't know about the top of the market, but could they give him $8 to $10 million to be their starting center? I thought that was absolutely on the table for McGovern, but that wasn't the case at all. In fact, he, as I mentioned, signed just a 1-year deal to come in at a veteran minimum and compete for a starting job. He won that starting job, but at this point, I think the keys could be turned over to Joe Tippmann, but the Jets offensive line, they need significant depth because of the injuries that they've dealt with on the line over the last few years. AVT has missed extended time the last 2 seasons. You've had both tackles miss time last year. Morgan Moses played through an injury, only missed 3 or 4 games, but is recovering from pectoral surgery. And then on the left tackle side, Tyron Smith is always going to miss somewhere between 3 and 5 games for you. So you need depth on the offensive line, and I think McGovern provides that. I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on Jordan Travis meeting with the New York Jets, if you like him for the Jets, and then also guys you would like to see the Jets retain that are still out there on the market. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary. Make sure to subscribe here if you are new. Give the video a like before you go, and I will catch you next time.